Hi, Sean, the Fluency Awesomeizer. Here's another video where I want to take a few minutes and help you decode big words and also give you some spelling tips to remember and use whenever you need them. We got 3 words I'm going to look at today. There's 3, all right? So let's get ready. These are pretty tricky. All right, I'm about to show you a word and I want you to read it right out loud to whoever you're there with. And you can hit pause if you think you need to give yourself time. What is this word? How about this one? And this one? All right, these words are really similar and they're definitely tricky to read. The top word is intersection. The middle word is interesting. And the instruction at the bottom. All right, I want to take a few minutes here and compare them, focusing on the word intersection. That's the one I picked to be the trickiest. And you may have thought or even read out loud one of the others. So we'll start by, let me get out of the way here because intersection is a really big word. We're going to compare intersection with interesting, all right? They both start with inter. I'm going to talk about that prefix in a moment. Down below, interesting has rest, R-E-S-T. But if you look up top in intersection, it also has an R-E-S-T in the middle. And it is really easy and very common with a big word like intersection, especially if you're nervous or you're in a rush. Your brain can feel that nervousness, that anxiety, and easily reverse a letter or two, like that ES just reversed. So you can see rest is also an intersection if you reverse a letter, which is very common. Interesting ends with an ing, but there's an in at the end of intersection. So look again, intersection now looks like interesting. Okay, it's an easy mistake to make. So we're going to focus on intersection. Down below, interest. Up top in the middle of the intersection is S-E-C-T. That says sect. Sect. All right, we'll talk about that in a minute. But sect has a C in it. And if you thought or read interesting, you left the C out. Notice how the C is at the end, towards the end of a really long word. It's very easy also to leave a letter out. All right, that C can be dropped out of a word like intersection. So take a good look at it. There it is. All right, now at the ending, interesting has ing ending. Intersection has a tion at the end. That is a suffix we'll look at in a moment. But up top, you can see the word section in intersection. And down below, you can see the word resting. And nervous young readers like yourself, you'll always give the first syllable or two. And it's in the middle at the end of a word where things can get a little crazy. So take a look at section and resting. Now, I'm going to talk about the difference with intersection and instruction. They start and end the same way. This one's a little different. There's even a C attached to the tion, all right? See, get it? C? So let's look at the middle. Up top, TRS in intersection. There is a TRS in instruction, but the S comes before the TR. All right, so like I was just saying, it's easy to reverse a letter or two in a really big word like intersection. And there's an E before that R up top, and that is an R-controlled sound, So it looks like it says terse up top. Down below, there's a U after the STR. So there's a stra, it says stra. Now I want to look at take another look at the middle here. There's a CT towards the end of both words. There's an E before it up top and a U down below. I'm going to come back on screen here and show you real quick. Take a look at me. Here's a way to remember short E and short U sound. This is an E in sign language. I want you to smell your breath. Smell your breath. That's a short E sound. Now the short U. Here's U in sign language. What's that short U sound? That's what it is. All right. So there's two ways to remember those short vowel sounds. Now, back up top, S-E-C-T in intersection, that says sect. And the STR attached to UCT, that says struct. All right, we're going to look at those in a moment. All right, let's look at them now. Intersection, I want to look at the root of intersection. It comes from the word intersect. That comes from the old ancient language Latin. And in Latin, inter is a prefix. It means between. Sect is a word part that means cut. So originally, intersect meant cut between. And to make sense of that, maybe you've learned this in math by now, especially if you're in 4th grade. But here's a line segment, right? And another line going through it. The lines intersect, right? It's like one of the other lines cuts between the first one. So from intersect, we're going to add, I got to get out of the way here, this word, I forgot, it's really big. We're going to add T-I-O-N to the root intersect to make intersection. T-I-O-N is a French suffix. It's pronounced tion. So in French, that says intersection. We say intersection. And an intersection is where lines cross. So the two line segments there, right in the middle is the intersection, right? And that's the math term. But we're familiar with intersections out on the street, all right? Like this one is an intersection. And that's why we have crossing guards. Maybe you have a crossing guard at your school to keep you safe when you're crossing the intersection. Let's take a look at the root of interesting. This ought to be interesting. The original root is interest. It's a very old word. An old form of English, an old form of Latin, right? And inter, like I said, means between. S meant, a long time ago, meant to be. So we have the word interest, and originally meant to be between. That was the original meaning. So let's make sense of that. Today, it means to excite the curiosity of someone, to interest someone. So think about this. Let's say you find a 4-leaf clover and you show it to someone, and they are interested. So there is interest between the 4-leaf clover and your friend, right? And that's the original meaning of interest, to be between. So it's kind of interesting, right? Speaking of interesting, you add ing to interest. Interest has several meanings, but now with the ing, it's an adjective, interesting. And that's a new emoji for interesting. All right, so let's look at the root word of instruction. The root is instruct. It is also from the ancient Latin language. The in prefix in Latin means on. Well, that's confusing. Struct, this is good. Struct means to build, right? So instruct originally meant to build on. We know it today as to teach, right? Instructors. So what does that have to do with building on? Well, think about teaching as building minds, right? So a teacher's job is to build minds, much like a home builder's job is to build homes, right? And the tools they use, or the materials they use, or would be, I guess, knowledge. So struct, that's where the build part comes from, instruct. Building minds, instruct. All right, very good. Now from instruct, we're going to add that T-I-O-N to instruct to get the French. Oh, that's French, remember. And in French, this would be pronounced instruction, but we say instruction. Now, get a look at that T-I-O-N, because you probably, if you go to spell instruction, you'll be tempted to spell it S-H-U-N, shun, like it sounds, but it's French. Instruction. So there's instruction. That means the process of teaching. All right, I'm kind of doing that right now, right? All right, let's look at the syllables real quick. We're going to wrap up in just a moment. Red is the stressed syllable, intersection. That's the 4-syllable word, intersection. Interesting. Another 4-syllable word, interesting. Listen to it though, because A lot of people pronounce it with 3 syllables. Interesting, but it's interesting. Instruction is a 3-syllable word. There's a big difference. Instruction. All right, putting these words aside, we're going to finish here. I want you to get ready to hit pause. Here's some quick fluency practice with a lot of these patterns stuffed inside a passage that I want you to read out loud right now. Hit pause. All right, that's going to do it for today. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for lots more videos just like this one. I post them every weekday, and they are meant for readers in 2nd through 6th grade, maybe beyond 6th grade, even before 2nd grade, but they are for readers, they're meant for readers to practice decoding big words. And mom or dad can follow me at Facebook at the Fluency Awesomeizer, or you can look at my photos. There's over 200 fluency exercises just like these. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back and see me again soon here at the Fluency Awesomeizer.